It's WrestleMania week, and despite the fact that WWE have done everything in their power to make it feel worthless and unimportant, this is still, at the end of the day, WrestleMania. It's the biggest event that WWE do all year. It's the biggest pro wrestling event all year. Well, as far as spectacle and how big it is, maybe it's definitely perhaps never the best event pro wrestling does each year. But anyway, in this video, I'll be going over my top 5 favorite WrestleManias. This, in my opinion, is the top 5 best WrestleManias, but then again, it's not too definitive. I'm sure there's plenty of shows that could fit into this. Honorable mentions right away. The main one I've left off, WrestleMania 14. That show probably should be in here. That's my number 6. But as far as other shows that deserve acknowledgements, 3, 10, not 20. I don't know. Pretty much, there's a couple of shows you could put in here. 28 maybe, but they're not on this list. This list is the shows I feel are the top 5 best WrestleManias of all time. So, without further ado, take a deep breath, get the popcorn out, here we go. WrestleMania 21 is my 5th favorite WrestleMania of all time. Now, why? This show, in my opinion, the whole WrestleMania Goes Hollywood thing, they did so well back in 2005. Like, the way they incorporated the WWE superstars, or wrestlers, whatever, and had them do those, Hollywoodized video packages. It was so cool, it was fun, it was like another element of the show, it was interesting, it was engaging, it was really cool. And let alone, on top of that, the show itself was really damn good. Like, outside of the sumo match, which in the review, which I did a couple of days ago, I ripped apart. The sumo match was garbage. Outside the sumo match and Cena versus JBL being pretty, dull, outside of that, it was a very significant show. Literally, when you open the show with Eddie vs. Rey Mysterio in a great match, then you have the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, which is awesome. You have Randy Orton vs. The Undertaker in a really good match. Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels have one of the top 5 WrestleMania matches ever. Just an incredible match. And then we get, obviously, the sumo dud. We have a segment with Hulk Hogan beating up Muhammad Hassan. And then we have Piper's Pit with Steve Austin. And to go with that, John Cena and Batista were crowned as the WWE and World Heavyweight Champions, respectively, beginning the Ruthless Aggression era. As far as, those two as a hallmark in it, having Cena and Batista have their crowning moments on top of a great show of, matches. I thought it's deserving of a top 5 spot. WrestleMania 21, that's a show I've put at 5th. You could have it probably 4, but I don't think any higher than 4, so that's my number 5, WrestleMania 21, the year WWE went Hollywood. So that's my number 5. Number 4, I've got WrestleMania 24. Now, this show is a very popular WrestleMania amongst the wrestling fandom because WWE in 2008, coming off the heels of a disastrous 2006 and an even worse 2007, a 2007 that was quite possibly the darkest year in pro wrestling history for obvious reasons, you get to 2008, and after those aforementioned 2 years of garbage, you get 2008, which was filled with just great pay-per-view after great pay-per-view. WrestleMania 24, no different. This show, the Money in the Bank ladder match was really good. CM Punk winning it. We had a bunch of other fun stuff in this show. JBL and Finlay in the Belfast Brawl. But more importantly, we had the spectacle celebrity match, Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather. That was a bit of fun. We had Randy Orton versus John Cena versus Triple H. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels in an amazing WrestleMania match. That match was phenomenal. The storytelling, Shawn Michaels ending the famous career of Ric Flair. Just an incredible matchup, that one. Just the ending was special. And then the main event, Edge vs. Undertaker. I watched that match today. And just, what a match. Edge and The Undertaker told an amazing story in that match. Just everything about it. I'm going to review this show next year. So look forward to that. Look forward a year, right? Whatever. So I'm going to review this show next year. I'm out of time for this WrestleMania season, but what a great show. WrestleMania 24, it's definitely deserving of a top 5. It's a top 5 WrestleMania in my opinion, and a lot of people's. This is more of a consensus one. So, at number 4, I've got WrestleMania 24. So, that being said, we move on to my number 3, WrestleMania 30. Now, this show, personally, it's the first WrestleMania that I really watched live, and I think it was a pretty good one to watch live, because I hadn't watched live the ones in the previous years. I'd followed what happened, but I hadn't watched them live. This show, watching it live was something else. Seeing the streak get broken live, seeing Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Steve Austin in the ring to open the show, seeing that Cena Wyatt match live, seeing Bryan beat Triple H in the opener, and then Cesaro win the Battle Royal, and then Bryan have his moment. Just so much stuff on this show felt awesome. So much about this show felt like a WrestleMania. And that's the thing, that's the vibe I don't get with the modern day WrestleManias. With the modern day WrestleManias, they're all, granted, the presentation of them look amazing, except the WrestleMania 36, obviously, but as from WrestleMania 35, from 35, 34, 33, 32, they're big spectacles, but there's no substance on the show. This show had lots of meaning. It was an emotional roller coaster. It was fitting of the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania, because, as I said, like the build up to this show, it felt like WrestleMania season. The Bryan thing felt like WrestleMania. It really did. And like the build to the show was really fun. And then you get to WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, the incredible stage, the beautiful set, the theme song, everything about it was great. Open the show, Hogan, The Rock, and Stone Cold in the ring. Wrestling's Mount Rushmore in the ring to open the show. Daniel Bryan and Triple H have an amazing match after that. So the first hour of the show was incredible. Then we had the Shield squashing Kane and the Outlaws, good. Cesaro winning the Battle Royal, that was great. We had John Cena, Bray Wyatt, which the match was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't actually that bad. Cena, Bray Wyatt. The match that was based around legacy. The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Forgetting the match, that was all about the streak being broken. The streak getting broken was just so significant and memorable. And then we had Daniel Bryan having his big moment at the end of WrestleMania 30, beating Batista and Randy Orton in the main event. Daniel Bryan ends the show with Conor the Crusher and the confetti and everything. Incredible stuff. So that's why I got WrestleMania 30 at number 3 on my list. Moving on to number 2. These top 2 are obvious. If you've seen my reviews for these shows, you know exactly my opinions on these. Both of these shows are just, I think, head and shoulders above, 3, 4, and 5 as far as WrestleManias. Just how stacked these shows were. And it really makes me think, when I look back on WrestleMania 17, 19, this period in this era, how disappointing WrestleMania 18 was. The fact that they had all that talent available to them, and they couldn't produce a WrestleMania on this level. Because WrestleMania 17 was incredible. I'll talk about that in a little bit. WrestleMania 19, this show, incredibly stacked. It was the format of the show which I love so much. It's 4 pretty good undercard matches. Matt Hardy, Shannon Moore, the Triple Threat Tag Team match, the Triple Threat Women's match, and then there's one more which I'm forgetting that I really should know. And then we go to the 5 main event matches, the big marquee matches. Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho had an absolute clinic in the ring. The storytelling of Jericho idolizing Michaels and then trying to beat him at WrestleMania in the first WrestleMania match for Michaels since 1998. Incredible stuff there. Those guys put on a show. So you go from that, moving that into Triple H vs. Booker T, which was the one burial Triple H did in his entire career, because Booker T needed to win that match. And if he did, this show would probably be looked at as better than 17 in a lot of people's eyes. But anyway, Triple H won that match. It was a pretty good match. From here, you moved into the next match, the street fight, 19 years, or they were calling it 20 years in the making, Hogan and Mr. McMahon. Just blood, storytelling, just great pro wrestling, sports entertainment. That was awesome. And then we had The Rock vs. Stone Cold 3. This, if you're going to have an incredible WrestleMania, Rock and Austin have to be there in some meaningful capacity. That's why I have floor 18, because having Austin versus Scott Hall at WrestleMania, what are you doing? That's a match you do on Raw. Anyway, so, Rock versus Austin, incredible. And then the main event, WWE Championship, Lesnar and Angle in their primes, just an incredible match. Brock Lesnar winning the title, awesome stuff. So WrestleMania 19, definitely deserving of number 2. I know a bunch of people have it number 1, but I have number 2. So that being said, we move into my number 1, WrestleMania 17. This show, I've said in a number of videos now, and I'll say it again in this video, this show, from top to bottom, is what I want to see in a pro wrestling show. It had everything. If you want your hardcore car crash violence, your ECW type, you've got the hardcore match, which was a bunch of entertainment, but also you had TLC 2, which was a genuine car crash. The things those guys did to their bodies on this night will never be recreated. From there, we had The Rock vs. Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event for the title. Just the best marquee main event you can possibly do for WrestleMania. And forgetting all the matches they did, this show, for just pure historical significance, this show was the culmination of the Attitude Era, a culmination of WWE buying WCW, Vince McMahon ending the Monday Night Wars himself by doing that. So it was this culmination, this resolute ending to the Attitude Era. You're coming off a Royal Rumble and a No Way Out 2001 pay-per-view, or both of them, which were incredible. Both those shows were so damn good. WWE is in this massive hot streak in 2000 and 2001, producing amazing content. You get to WrestleMania 17 in the Reliant Astrodome, Stone Cold's hometown, deep in the heart of Texas. JR and Heyman on commentary. My Way is the theme song. It's just the perfect WrestleMania setting. You get Rock vs. Austin in the main event, the perfect possible main event. TLC 2, this beautiful car crash. McMahon vs. McMahon. Shane vs. Vince. Just, wow. What a match, Shane vs. Vince. And not from the perspective of in-ring, but storytelling. The stuff with Linda, Trish, Stephanie, Mick Foley, everything. The WCW guys watching Shane, because Shane bought WCW. Just awesome stuff. You also had, the undercard, the hardcore match, Eddie Guerrero vs. Test, Jericho, Regal. The women's title match wasn't great, but the APA with Taz against Right to Censor, just all this stuff was awesome. Triple H versus The Undertaker. You just go on and on. Benoit, Angle, just this show was flawless. Well, actually, it wasn't flawless. As I said, Ivory China was garbage, but outside of that, amazing. The Legends Battle Royal was so much nostalgia. That's why WrestleMania 17 is my number one, the best WrestleMania of all time in my opinion. So that's been the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and sub. Just throwing this video out here, WrestleMania week. Just getting the WrestleMania kind of atmosphere going because WWE did such a horrible job of building it themselves. Genuinely, the lowest rated Go Home Raw for any show in history. The worst Raw, Anyway, moving on. Like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.